Today I am making a cookie that I call the King's Jewels. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees, and as you can see, I have everything laid out ready to go. Now, in order to make these cookies, you will have to do a little pre-prep, and that is you'll take rolled oats and grind them up either in a blender or one of these little processors. As you can see, it's kind of dusty from where I made the flour. So this is an oat flour. You can buy oat flour. I can't buy it locally, so I decided to make it. It's also very easy. Although I used 1.5 cups rolled oats, it only went down to about 1.25 cups when ground up. So if you have to buy it, about 1.25 cups should do it. And this is 1 cup rolled oats, quick cooking oats, and the old-fashioned, either one, don't matter. This is a cup of sugar. Half of it is brown sugar that I packed in the measuring cup. You always measure brown sugar by packing it unless told otherwise. And white table sugar. Now, I like a 1/2 cup of each. You can switch it a little bit if you want a little more brown sugar. You don't want to get too much because it may affect the moisture in the cookie. We have an egg. 1/2 cup softened butter, that's just at room temperature. You don't want to use melted butter because it will change the results. I got a 1/2 cup of broken walnuts. You can use any kind of nut you want or leave them out, it's your choice. A 1/2 teaspoon salt, it's pink Himalayan salt because I like it better. And a 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. 1 tablespoon Karo syrup mixed with 2 teaspoons vanilla. You don't have to mix it ahead of time. I just wanted to make it easier for the video. And I have a cup of chopped up candied fruit. Now, you can use the candied citron. I don't like it. I find it's rather bitter, even though it's candied, but you're sure welcome to try it. This is the way the fruit looks when I buy it, and then I chop it up with a knife. Okay, well, let's get to mixing our dough. We're going to mix what I call the wet ingredients. That'll be the butter, the egg, and the sugar, the vanilla, and the corn syrup. And then we're going to mix the dry ingredients. That would be the oats, and the oat flour, and the salt, and the baking soda. And after that, we're going to mix the two together and add our fruit and the nuts, and then we'll be baking the dough. Now, when I mix these, I often use just a wooden spoon, but you can use a mixer. I just have a habit of using wooden spoons on everything. So I'll see you in a little bit when I have the doughs ready to blend. Okay, now the dry ingredients are mixed, the wet ingredients are mixed. We're going to combine the two. I should use the spatula for this. Anyway, do the best you can. Now when you stir this, of course it wants to fly everywhere, so just kind of go gently at first, and it will work its way in. It's just because the flour is very fluffy compared perhaps to wheat flour. Now you can see the dough kind of tends to look crumbly. That's because, well, I assume it's because of the rolled oats. Also, it's not a super wet dough, such as some of the chocolate chip cookie doughs. But it mixes up fairly quickly once you get it started. Normally I would cut off the video for the mixing, but since this cookie's a little bit different, I wanted you to see that the texture is a little, I don't know really what the word is, not exactly crumbly, but It's not smooth. I consider it kind of rocky, sandy. But when it bakes, that all kind of dissolves into a smoother cookie. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, to mix in your half-cup nuts and a cup of chopped mixed candied fruit, our jewels of the king. They're a little difficult at first, but once they start mixing in, just like the dough, they go a little smoother. It doesn't take too long to get them incorporated. I've gotten real fancy and done the bowl spin. Alright, as you can see, the jewels are mixed into the dough. Now, as you see, it's still crumbly, still kind of unusual looking. Now, we're going to use a spoon, and just about the size of a walnut in its shell. And just don't press them real tight, just enough that they're together, but not smooshed. Like that. And try to get them all about the same size. They'll bake better that way, to be even. As you see, that falls apart a bit. Just gather it, but don't squeeze real hard. It will come together during baking. That's why I'm showing the part that I don't normally want to show, because it's rather important to know how to prepare these for the oven. Alright. There, they should look about like that. Now I'm going to bake them approximately 12 to 13 minutes. What you want is for them to be a little browner than you normally would have for like a chocolate chip cookie. And the middle will look kind of set, although it will be gooey on the inside. And then we'll take it out and let them cool completely on the tray, because they're very fragile cookies and they will break easily. So I'm going to wash my hands and bake these and come back and show you how they look after they're out of the oven. I've just pulled these out of the oven. As you can see, they're a little more brown than you might use for a chocolate chip cookie, but this kind of cookie really needs to be just a little bit more done than some. That has to cool on the tray, almost completely cool, because they're very fragile cookies, but they do hold together if you do that. I can show you what happens if you try to lift them too soon. We'll take this ugly one. See, it wants to smash up. It has to cool, and then it won't do that. Now, you can see they're not all even. That's the homemade way. You're going to get a few that look really nice. This fella here, this one, he's pretty good too. These two decided to go rogue. That's just the way it is. But they will taste exactly the same as the prettier ones. So, I'll be back when these cool and show you how to plate them up. Our cookies are almost completely cool, and I'm going to show you how to remove them from the tray. They are fragile, as I said. But before I do that, I want to mention the spoon that I use to dip the dough out onto the cookie sheet. I tried to connect each recipe with something of family, some lore or whatever, and this spoon used to be my mother's, or mom's as I always called her. Back when we were younger, my generation, when a company wanted to advertise an item, they often sent you a sample in hopes that you would love it so much that you would order more, and quite often people did. You'd get fabrics, you'd get all kinds of stuff. And this was a spoon that came in one of those promotions, and it has her initial on it. And she really enjoyed it. She did not buy any more spoons. Sorry to the company that did that. But she just always liked it. And when she passed away, it became mine. And now it's a treasure that I hold dearly. And I wanted to let it shine a little bit, I guess that's a pun, in this recipe. So, now let's get to the part you're probably really waiting on. Now see, they do hold together pretty good. It's just that they are terrible when they're hot. They will fall apart and crumble. You won't even know they're cooking. This one, someone has stolen the jewels off of it, apparently, while it was baking. It does have some in there, but not very many. We're going to give that to someone and tell them that it's just an oatmeal cookie. Now this one has not cooled completely because it's thicker for some reason, and you can see what happens. However, it tastes just as good. So anyway, thank you for stopping by my kitchen. I hope you enjoy the recipe. I hope you give it a try. It's a really good one for people who can't have wheat flour. And I'm sure they'll be just as pleased to have the cookies, whether they look homemade or look store-bought. These, I think, could almost pass for bakery cookies. What do you think? Thank you for stopping by my kitchen. Have a great day.